Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. We are live on a Tuesday night, as often happens, and we are here to, of course, talk about the series finale of The Bad Batch, and then also a very, very good episode of X-Men 97, the beginning of a three-part
my X-Men
season. Oh man, so
Yeah.
good season finale. But first, as we always do, we're going to go around the horn here. Looking on my screen, Garrison is first. So, Garrison, how did you extra this week?
How did I extra this week? Well, there's a lot of things I did. I could save a lot of them. I'm much further along in that book, 74%. That's great.
Oh, wow, you're rocking and rolling on that.
I honestly, if we weren't doing this episode, I'd probably be going
You'd
in
be
on
reading.
the book right
Yeah,
now.
my bad. My bad.
No, it's tough. Hey, I show up for this. I'm gonna talk about a film that I watched this weekend. A little film, indie film that was shot in Brunswick, Georgia, by the name of X-Men First Class.
Yep.
All right.
I have not seen that film in a long time. Maybe since I saw it in theaters. I mean,
I'm the same way.
I've definitely seen clips of it here or there.
Sure.
But I cannot tell you how much I laughed when. Well, first off, I like the film a lot.
Yeah.
I think the film is great. I actually think this is going to be an X-Men hot take here before we even get to the show. I think X-Men First Class. X-Men First Class and Days of Future Past are a better 1-2 punch than X-Men and X2. That's my hot take.
I can feel that. Okay.
I'll tell you in a few weeks.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are doing rewatches right now.
Well, I laughed because when the establishing shot shows up and it says Miami, Florida, and then there I see the Sydney Linear Bridge, which I drive across every day. In Brunswick, which is the bridge right next to Jekyll Island, because that was the Jekyll Pier they shot at.
Oh wow!
For that
okay.
scene.
Yeah, you see where you live. You're right there.
Yeah, I mean, you would think like, okay, they could do the Jekyll Pier, but you just you could paint that giant bridge out of the background. And nowhere in Miami Beach does that bridge exist. That's a purely Brunswick, Georgia thing, and I love that. It doesn't detract from the film for me. I'm like, hey, that's great.
You guys are like Miami. Who knew?
Yeah,
well, I'm familiar with Floridian geography and Georgia geography. I know that there's bridges like in the Florida Keys, right, that are super long like that. So I'd have bought it.
There are, but it's not exactly like that. But
I bought it.
Anyway, no one's noticing that except me. Or people who live in Brunswick and knew that it shot there. I will tell you this. When I was in 8th grade, they were shooting the film here, and they shot in my old middle school. So when I was in 6th grade, I went to a middle school building, and then we got a new building in 7th grade. Like, they had been building it while I was in 6th grade, and we moved to the new building, and they said, it wasn't safe enough to use. But then a Hollywood production came in and used it. So I don't really believe them. I think they just wanted to use the tax dollars to build a new school.
That was from Brunswick to New Brunswick, right?
That was Glen Middle School. They used the old Glen Middle School, which that building does not exist. It's been torn down now. But they spent one day. I was downtown. They spent one day. It's the weirdest thing, and I've sent the pictures in the Deucecast before. They put up palm trees in this little block in downtown Brunswick and put a blue screen behind them and started shooting the palm trees on this blue screen. And to this day, I would really love to ask someone who worked as crew on that film.
What was the purpose of that?
What exactly the purpose of that? I mean, I got to think it's like a VFX thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to go too long. I do really enjoy that film. I love the new takes on the characters. I like the new actors as Magneto and Charles Xavier. I even think Jennifer Lawrence is fantastic before she got sick of using the makeup so much.
Right. She's like, okay.
She got so over that.
Please? Can y'all kill me?
She got so over that so quickly.
Yeah. So I'm up to Days of Future Past is coming up very soon for me, and I'm
You're moving at a quicker pace than I am. But anyways, Roth, how did you extra?
Yeah, there's quite a few things that I could mention that I've kind of brought up before, kind of like Garrison. I'll save the big event that I think most of us did on Friday for Dr. Earl. I am continuing my Twilight Saga watching.
Yes, you are.
So true.
Bless you.
So good.
Movie. No, honest,
Which one?
Eclipse 2010.
Oh,
It wasn't good. I give it a 60.
yeah.
A good movie by any means, but it was the best of the three that I've seen. Robert Pattinson still stinks at acting in this movie. But K Stu's a bit better.
I just don't think he cares.
It's just so bizarre because like I acknowledge and
he's very stoic.
I'm an R. Pats fan.
Yeah.
But so it's just bizarre to see him
not be good,
deliver these terrible performances. I watched one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yes, you did.
This weekend, which everybody needs to go watch, The Sunset Limited.
Oh yeah, you've been talking about that. I thought that should be your extra, but you're not gonna.
Well, I figured we'd save that a little bit for the
you're
end.
Gonna talk about it. Yeah, good day.
I will say maybe my real extra will be I did binge Tales of the Empire. This afternoon.
Nice.
And it sucked. Maybe not.
Yeah, it was pretty. It was pretty mid.
It was very average.
Yeah,
especially compared to Tales of the Jedi or Republic or whatever the last one was. It was just boring.
Yeah.
And when Star Wars is boring, Star Wars sucks.
So I know.
Yeah. I feel you there. Earl, Dr. Bastion. Dr. Earl, how did you extra this week?
Well, I know what you think I'm going to say, but I'm going to pivot to a different way.
Okay.
I got to see The Fall Guy on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
And love the heck out of it. It's a fun movie.
Yes.
It great stunt work, incredible stunt work. Just a lot of fun. And I'll talk more, I'm sure, about it on the Deucecast when we do reflections at some point. But
good plug, Dr. Earl. Thank you.
You like that? Yeah. If you want to hear the rest of the story,
checks in the mail.
Hey, in 2 weeks, listen to Good Day for a Movie podcast for our review of The Fall Guy.
Oh, even better.
Wow. Fall Guy.
Oh, no. I don't know that I want to hear Sage's take on that.
I don't know.
No, don't worry. Sage isn't involved. Sage is done for the summer.
He's out. He's like, I'm done with this stupid thing.
Yeah, he's working at a restaurant that's $200.
Doing Chef Boy Summer is what he's doing.
Yeah.
Chef Boy Summer. Gosling and
Blunt.
Emily Blunt
had a great chemistry. It was just a lot of fun. And
newsflash, she has good chemistry with anybody she's on screen with.
I was kind of worried that Gosling was going to be like too much of a doofus, sort of like it's okay. This is going to be just Ken 2.0, but he really wasn't.
Right.
He really wasn't. I mean, he did play a guy that was, had a character arc and was a little bit different, and I enjoyed that. And I think I'd set my bar so low, like I don't know. Yeah, I'll go see it with you.
Well, I mean, he's a younger Lee Majors, right? I mean, it's the same character name.
He's there. Well, yeah.
And we see somebody.
Spoilers! I haven't seen it yet. I'm seeing it on Friday.
I missed it. I don't know when I missed it in PFL.
Serious?
Yes, I didn't have time to go see it, and so now I'm not going to get to see it in a premium format. And I'm ticked.
I thought Earl was saying he went to see it with you.
No, I saw it with Rhett.
I was tied up this weekend.
Oh no,
literally.
And Rhett loved it. Rhett was
literally tied up.
No.
All right, well, Earl,
blank 3 times.
Michael, how did you extra? Oh, what now, Garrison? Go ahead, Garrison.
Earl, I was just because I enjoyed it so much. I went to see it twice this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mikey, I'll see it with you.
Yeah, but I'm mad that I'm not going to get to see it in a premium
if you would like to see it on 4K laser with Dolby Atmos sound, you can come up to Cheyenne on Friday.
Yeah, I'll get a plane ticket and fly. I'm not David. I can't just fly all over the world
at a regional airport.
Yeah, exactly. No, I actually may try and see it tomorrow after church at a late show, just because Thursday it's going to leave.
I mean, I can't.
It won't be on IMAX anymore on Thursday. So.
Oh, that's right. You got to catch it on before it slips out of IMAX.
Yeah, because Planet of the Apes got the ticket.
That's the problem I'm running into. I'm having to see it Friday at 10 p.m.
My screen tomorrow night will be playing Apes, and I will be there.
Oh, you're going to the advanced
early
what a wonderful day! What does he say?
What a beautiful! What does he say?
Beautiful day!
I think it's
what a beautiful day. So my extra, mine is just going to be that I'm rewatching the X-Men movies. I'm slowly making my way through them, although quicker than I usually do rewatches. So my goal is to certainly be done well before July, when Deadpool and Wolverine come out. And so I just finished X-Men Origins Wolverine. Not great.
No, that's not.
That's how I remembered as well.
Not good.
When did that come out? Was that between X2 and?
So I'm watching it in release order. So
yeah,
it came out.
I guess I could look.
Right. Whoa.
No, look at you.
Oh, there's that. Yes.
Oh, what is that?
Well, see, you're doing all the Fox, and I'm not. I'm just doing the X-Men films. I'm not doing. So, anyways, it came out
you
after.
can still see
Last Stand.
when it came out.
Yeah, it came after Last Stand. Basically.
What year was that? I couldn't.
09.
Oh no.
Yeah, and so the next one I'll get to watch.
11.
I'll get to watch First Class. Then I'm gonna watch. I guess just the Wolverine. I'll watch the extended one.
Wolverine.
I'm about to watch. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Go
ahead.
I have not watched the theatrical cut in so long. I'm going to watch that first and then the extended.
Okay. I just figured
it was after the Last Stand,
and then I'm going to watch the Rogue cut of Days of Future Past.
I haven't watched that.
Yeah, I'm going to watch both.
I've got that Blu-ray.
Rogue cut. I don't know about that. Oh, with Rogue added back. Yeah.
Well, she's got more scenes or whatever.
Anna Paquin is in it.
Yeah. So I figured that.
I do have one other thing. It's kind of a challenge for maybe our live listeners / you guys. Tomorrow night.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, it was Marvel trivia. Tomorrow night, Star Wars trivia. So if any Star Wars trivia questions pop in your head during this thing, shoot them at me because I need to study up.
Oh gosh, I mean, well, there isn't a very exciting game of simple Star Wars trivia that's on tomorrow's episode of the Deucecast.
You can glean from it. You
be listening to it.
You can listen to that, and that'll give you some really good. Very simple though. All very simple questions. I did really good. All very simple. Simple Star Wars. Yeah, it's a very Star Wars. We did the top 5 fight scenes in Star Wars.
Oh, very nice.
And we had a guy from Land Speeding. Oh God, I can't remember the name of it.
We followed him on Twitter today.
No, that's not that guy.
Not that one.
That's not that guy.
Not that
that's presumptuous, Jacob.
It was. Well, it's something like that.
Earl,
that's a
podcast.
What was his name?
The land speeding the world. His name was Eric Franks, but I can't remember the name of his podcast.
Eric Franks. It was something
land speeding the.
I don't know. I feel embarrassed.
It's a cool concept though because
what live on air.
What
living with the land speeder.
Living with the land speeder. It was a cool concept because
that's one of the Disney.
Yeah. He takes like the Disney rides and turns them to a Star Wars ride, which is really fun. I love that concept. That is how you make a podcast. You come up with something that nobody else has done,
and then everybody forgets because they can't remember the name of it, like us.
And then everybody forgets.
Living with a land speeder, right?
And I have decided also, which I'm sure I will extra this later on when I'm doing it.
We apologize.
I'm going to do an Aliens rewatch also. I'm going to watch all of them, and I'm going to include both the Aliens v Predator films in that.
Would you like us to assign that to you, Michael?
I've never seen them.
I'm going to watch all of them leading up to Romulus.
When does Noah Hawley's series come out?
That won't be till next year, probably. Yeah. So you've got time unless you're wanting to do it before Romulus, which is this summer sometime.
Never seen an Alien movie.
Dude, they're so
Alien is
the
I
first
tried to watch
first
in college, probably like 2015. I tried to watch the first Alien, and I stopped like 5 minutes in, and I was like,
I have not watched. I haven't watched 3 and 4 in decades.
I've never seen 3 or 4.
Is that the one with Winona Ryder? Is number 3?
Well, that's the 4th one.
Oh, 4th one. Okay. 3
Sigourney,
is the Fincher one, right?
Fincher. Yeah. It's his directorial debut.
Most people hated that.
Sigourney.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna, as soon as I get done with the X-Men rewatch, I'm gonna do an Aliens rewatch. I'm gonna be doing a lot of rewatching, so Reflections is gonna be weird for me this summer.
Jacob, y'all need to watch Alien, the first one, for a Good Day for a Movie.
Oh, that'd be
if it comes up as the director's cut, don't watch that because it's
Don't
actually
watch
not. It's not Ridley Scott's director's cut.
Yeah.
Oh,
He
interesting.
did not commission it.
Really?
It's not his.
Mhm.
Like the theatrical cut is his cut.
The theatrical cut is
It is
it's perfect.
awesome.
It's like
Watch
it's
it
like,
with all the lights turned off.
Mhm.
It is so good.
Yeah.
All right, let us dive into the series finale of the Bad Batch. 50 something minute episode, I think.
Yep.
Longest episode. Which hey, I give them props. I like that they took the time to have a longer episode. My initial impression of it, and I've thought about it
you wanted
since.
people to die. I know.
I did. And you know what? And here's what I'll say. I think I'm wrong for wanting that. I think that the decision that they made is more of a Star Wars decision
Yeah, for
than
sure.
perhaps I would have wanted.
Yeah.
And
It's not,
so,
this isn't
want them-
this is an Andor.
I
yeah,
want them massacred in a spin-off canon novel.
right.
That's what Mikey's
right.
gonna say next.
No. So I think that I think this, and when I got done with the episode, like my initial watch, I was like, I don't like this. And thinking about it more and listening to a couple other shows talk about it, I think that this was and even watching Phantom Menace, I mean, I was like, you know what, this feels very Star Warsy, and so I think overall I enjoyed it. We'll nitpick a little bit maybe in a minute, but Garrison, what about you? What was your just as you finished the episode's thoughts about it?
Well, I didn't have my mind tainted by other people talking about the show.
Well, no, I didn't before I watched. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
That's
post
only
show.
post,
I haven't listened to anyone
taint.
talk about it. Yeah.
Post taint.
I have long been kind of so mixed on this show. There are times when I really think it's been strong. There are times when I really think it hasn't, and it's kind of dragged things out. I was really glad that this season kind of told the story arc that it did.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was good. Ultimately, though, when it was done, I was kind of like, that was fine. I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah.
I mean the series as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I watched it. It's my least favorite Star Wars cartoon series. I've never seen Resistance, and I probably never will. But
well,
the 2 seasons of Resistance, there were some dramatic things that happened.
No.
Yeah.
But it probably doesn't help that I'm more of a fan of Jedi stuff. Clone Wars appeals more, and Rebels appeals way more to me than this show does ultimately. But I enjoyed it. I liked the conclusion for a lot of the characters. Kind of sucked that Sniper Boy lost his hand. I can't remember his name. So
Crosshair.
Yeah.
Wow, look at me. Usually I'm in Garrison's camp, but somehow it just came right to me, and I don't know how.
Or Trigger Finger, or whatever.
I don't want to say the wrong name. Like when I say Echo instead of
right, instead of
Omega.
Omega.
Yeah, Omega.
You got to pronounce it correctly.
I did like seeing adult Omega though.
I did too.
That was
fighting
cool.
For the rebellion.
Oh wow, Jacob threw that out.
I don't know what you're
threw
talking
that
about.
out there. Oh man,
I think my mic cut out. Was my mic doing the weird thing that it does?
Yeah. That's what happened.
I agree with what your mic said, but
so Jacob, just thoughts after you finished watching the episode. I think you watched it the most recent out of all of us.
No, I watched it on Wednesday.
Oh, you watched it Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah.
I watched it Saturday, so I'm probably the most.
Oh, you are the most recent then. Yeah.
That was nice. That was kind of my thoughts. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I was kind of actually hoping for a bit more. Maybe not in terms of death, but like seemed a little anticlimactic. Stakes weren't very high. The cavalry being Godzilla was weird. I'm assuming that's what the cavalry that arrived.
the Zilla Beast. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to know what they meant by the title of that episode because there wasn't any cavalry that really arrived.
Like it would have been nice to see a Rex show up.
Yeah, somebody to help them.
Because I feel like even though Rex was just a supporting character in this, it's the character that the wider general Star Wars audience that's watching this show cares most about, probably.
Yeah, I would
Before
agree
the
with
show
that.
started, he's the hook, which is probably an indictment on the show a little bit, because Rex as a hook is a bit of a weak indictment.
Yeah.
Just because he's really just animated. I know he's kind of in, you can maybe say he's in a live action something. But yeah, I like the show overall. Didn't feel like a waste of time, but I'm also not like, hey, like, you really like the Star Wars movies, you need to go watch Bad Batch.
Yeah,
But
it's
no,
not one
if
that
there's a big Star Wars fan that's like, I love all the Star Wars movies, I love The Mandalorian, I loved Ahsoka, I'd be like, go watch Clone Wars, go watch Rebels.
Yeah.
That was some really good stuff. There's some really good storytelling happening in those
Yeah.
series. This one, I'd be like,
Yeah,
if you're
that's like
super duper
Dave,
bored and have,
Dave
like,
is always
clue.
asking that question. Like Dave's like, "What animated stuff should I watch?" And I'm like, "Well, now I would not, like you just said, I would not necessarily say Bad Batch is essential. I'd put it in the same
Rebels,
category
maybe.
as Resistance. Like these are not essential animated shows
Yeah.
that you need to
Well,
watch.
it's definitely better than Resistance, though.
Yes.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying as far as like you don't need to watch either of these
Yeah,
shows.
that's fair.
There's not really anything. There's the necromancer thing, which we've heard that term before. So yeah, you could get some continuity there.
But then they take all this money and give it to Stardust. So like,
right.
Stardust.
Stardust.
Which I kind of like that.
I like that connection.
I like that the necromancer stuff fails ultimately, because it was something that they were developing and clearly then started developing later on. Continued that, but we didn't actually see the origins of what we saw in Rise of Skywalker. We just saw kind of like the inkling of where they got those origins. I mean,
yeah. So there had to have been, even though, well, actually, Earl, you haven't even had a chance to say. I mean, what did you think after your first viewing of it, or only viewing of it?
And then I did like sort of a reaction thing with a guy that showed enough that I could remind myself.
You love the Campia recaps.
Well, no, Campia, I haven't.
Gosh, this now.
Yeah.
No, I liked it. I even felt like emotionally connected when
really,
Hemlock was holding Omega like hostage, and then by that point Crosshair had lost his hand and he was going to have to make the shot across that bridge. Spoiler alert, by the way.
Well, yeah, we always do spoilers.
The Zillow Beast thing I could have taken or leaving, but I understand it was the distraction to give Omega and her little kid crew time to sort of sneak through and sort of make her escape. And I like that Omega went back to help her team. They're soldiers together. And I really have enjoyed. I know Jacob's not a big fan of Omega, and she used to annoy me the first couple of seasons, but I've liked her growth and arc this season, and then to have her as an adult at the end. And some people say that she may show up in another show.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, look, this isn't the last animated show that we're going to get, so I'm sure that
and no, I'm not talking animated.
Well, no, but I mean, maybe. Okay, what are you thinking? Like Skull?
I've heard Carrie Condon. There's a rumor that she may.
I don't know if that's going to be true. Nothing of the sort, but I'm intrigued.
Skeleton Crew.
I'm intrigued by Echo or Omega in live action.
So. Yeah. But I don't know. Who knows if that's true? I mean, that was just some little thing that floated across my Facebook feed. So
interesting.
A speculation only, sir.
Interesting.
But I enjoyed it. Like I didn't feel like I've kind of been only half-heartedly loving the Bad Batch all three seasons, and this has been the best arc. I think Garrison mentioned that, and so it was. And I felt like finally the stakes were high. Now I was surprised we didn't really get to see who these clone assassins were. That we didn't pull any mask off. There was a question whether Tech was going to be one of them, or anyway, there were revelations that we just did not get that I thought probably could have happened to give more Easter eggs. Michael, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So
yeah, my camera may go out, but I mean, I'm still here for right now.
It's just jittery.
Yeah. It's like you're like illegally like
Michael,
streaming.
stay alive. Whatever happened?
Like the bottom of your frame is like shifting.
Yeah. If I touch the cord, it will go out. So
Are you in Maripol?
I've got to make sure that. Oh yeah, I am in Maripol. I've got to make sure not touch the cord, because if I do, then the whole thing's going to go to hell. So I'm not gonna do that.
Anyway, that's that. What did you think, Michael?
Yeah, a couple. Well, I sort of said what I thought at the beginning, but a couple of
right.
things that I really did enjoy.
Yeah, what did you like?
That scene when, well, one of my predictions was that Rampart was gonna not be a good guy. He was gonna turn on him, and he did. Like, I figured that would happen. I'm kind of glad that he wasn't a sexy callus. I'm glad that he was just like Rampart, evil dude. I'm glad that they kept his character trait as just being a bad Empire guy. I loved Nala Se. She ends up being a bad A. Even though she's been working for the Empire for a really long time, she still kind of redeemed herself and blew it all up. I loved that.
Yeah, that was a good.
That was
scene.
a really cool scene. Cool. Yeah. I thought that was awesome.
Blew up all
and not only took care of Rampart, but all the data there too. So
yeah, well, as far as we know, all that data is gone. I mean, obviously, some of it must have gotten through because of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure they had some of it offsite and backed up, but some key parts of that, like Omega, I think has been destroyed.
Right. The big thing was the Omega part of it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I really liked that. The problem with this particular episode is I thought there was a lot of convenience to everything. The convenience of the Zillo Beast being at Tantus.
Like, why were they holding that? I didn't
why was it there? I mean, there was a lot of convenient stuff.
Wasn't there something about the Zillo Beast that everybody was like, "Oh, Death Star stuff," right?
I guess.
Like there's something
or something. Or?
Yeah, that the Zillo Beast does that, like the Death Star also kind of does. I can't remember exactly what it was.
Oh yeah, I have
so that's weird for it to be there and not.
That sounds like nerd stuff, Jacob.
That is, I have a very vague.
My DK book on that.
Yeah, that's DK
usually the card
moment.
I play. Well played, Harrison.
That is, I can't recall, but I vaguely remember something that you're talking about there. I think that yet again, this particular season was really a crosshair season. I mean, we had a full character arc with him.
That was
really cool. More than any other character. Like this season felt like it wasn't even a Bad Batch season. It was a crosshair story. I guess that's a good storytelling choice to latch onto a character, but I don't know if you should call your show.
Yeah, like right at the end there when they were both on the bridge, she went to Crosshair to hug first.
Yeah. She went to Crosshair instead of Wrecker.
Probably though, because he had done the shot.
Or whoever was there.
He had done
yeah. I
mean, maybe, I don't know. But they had really bonded this year. She bonded with a different person every season, I think.
Well, yeah, but your final season, then it ends up being like, wow, we really, if you think about it, we've really had for 2 seasons a lot of Crosshair content. Like one of the best episodes from last season was the one when he was on that snow planet. I mean, so we've had so much really good Crosshair content that ends up being probably my favorite character of the series. I mean, there's no other character.
Yeah,
I will say, Hunter is the one there at the end. So he's still the main Omega.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it felt like he was such an afterthought this season. That's probably my biggest complaint of season 3, which I actually think season 3 tells maybe the strongest story of any of the seasons. Hunter's kind of shoved to the side.
I mean, even Echo had more to do than Hunter did this season. I mean, he was like,
they kind of brought Echo
last few episodes. I mean, he's been
they sort of
more important than Hunter.
Yeah,
I mean,
Hunter was big in the first season.
Hunter was like an action figure that they bring out for the fights, but storytelling wise, it was kind of like.
Right. He was like Rambo. He didn't really have much of a story arc.
He was a little more prominent first season, I feel like.
I guess so, yeah. I guess the first season.
And then Omega sort of did that bonding thing with Wrecker for a little bit, where they would go eat those, I don't remember what it was, candies or
Yeah.
Oh, I like them, and they would go, oh,
yeah, good old Wrecker.
Wrecker, you need to calm yourself.
Yeah. In hindsight, I'm glad that Wrecker didn't die. I mean, I'm real,
I was worried.
He did come close. He got beat up really bad.
And
by
the music at the beginning, like I really loved it. Because at first I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to start crying right now because they're going to kill them all.
The
like
Kiner family.
When you first heard the music, I was like, uh-oh, this is not good. This sounds really sad.
Yeah. No, it was. And that was a great way to start.
Die
and that was a great way, that foreboding sense that you get at the beginning of the episode was really a great way. Now, none of that paid off, obviously. Like the tone of that music to me didn't necessarily pay off, although there were some touch and go moments. I mean, I think like when all those Clone X's were activated, to me I was like, there's zero chance that somebody's gonna not die through this.
I really thought
if
those
you've got
guys,
all of those Clone X figures,
I thought Wrecker was gonna bite it, to be honest.
I did too.
Like
it really did feel like it. So, in hindsight, I'm glad that everybody lived. I mean, except for Nalase.
I thought Ventress was going to show up just.
Yeah, that's another weird thing about this season was we really even need Ventress? I mean, it was cool seeing her for a moment, but it was, I don't know. There's a lot of loose threads that Bad Batch, I think, created.
On your left, here's Phoenix Shand. Here's Ventress.
Yeah, exactly.
It almost felt like something they were setting up for later, but it's like, why do you need to set it up here if ultimately it did nothing?
Why did you need to use the Bad Batch? Why did you need to include that character in the Bad Batch? I mean, I think obviously from the standpoint of answering some questions further about the abilities of, or lack thereof in this case, of Omega, I guess that, but anybody could, I mean, that could have been, gosh, they could have made people freak out if it had been Cal Kestis or something. I think people would have freaked out even more if that had been Cal Kestis and not Ventress. I mean,
yeah, but Cal Kestis, I haven't played the second game, so maybe I'm wrong, but he's not really established by like Ventress is, right? Where he doesn't have an operation.
There's definitely, I think it's easy to say that there's more people playing those games than is watching Bad Batch.
Yeah, so that's probably accurate.
Probably
people would go crazy if somebody.
Yeah, there would be a lot of people, and gamers are always feeling like they're not enough of the stuff that they do is included in any animated show, or
because they're making decisions on story.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, that's true.
It's hard to include a game as canon.
That's true. That's
also
true.
That green kid was called Jax. Was that Jackson from the rabbit from the?
That's not the rabbit. That's not the rabbit.
I wish
he hadn't grown his ears yet.
He just hasn't. He's just young. They're gonna stick out.
He's been cutting his ears off like the Angel at the beginning.
Like if Omega had said, "All right, we're going to go help the rebellion. Come on, Jax," and a rabbit walks out, dude, I would have gone. Tricks are for kids.
I think ultimately the necessity of this series existing is probably pretty low on the totem pole. I mean,
yeah.
Whereas with Clone Wars and Rebels, I think both of those stories tie in, and obviously now with Rebels, we've gotten live action versions of some of the characters. I mean, I think both of those series are much more essential.
We've gotten live action versions of all of those characters except for Kanan because he's dead.
Yeah, exactly. Technically he was. Did we see? No, we didn't see a hologram of him or anything. They could do that at some point, but
yeah.
I wonder how many of the bridges Freddie Prinze has burned though. He says a lot of crap.
He does say a lot of stuff on his. Well, I don't know if he still has his show, but he did say a lot of stuff on his show.
Oh,
I'm done with Star Wars. Yeah, he's just. I don't know. Doof. He won't even make appearances or anything anymore. Whereas
he's
all the other
50-50, where sometimes he has really insightful things to say about Star Wars storytelling, and sometimes I'm you're an idiot. Like his whole rant about the whole gray Jedi thing, very good.
Yeah, yeah.
But some other stuff, like Dave Filoni directed that end scene in Rogue One.
Yeah, Yeah, which
Just
was not
made up.
true. Yeah, totally made up. Anyways, so
we all know that was Tony Gilroy.
yes, it
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
Yes, it was. Savior of Star Wars.
Yes, very much so.
Of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
not Jacob's Star Wars.
That's not your Star Wars, exactly. So yeah, I mean, I'm not mad about the show. Not mad about the show existing, but at the same time, it just sort of ended with a whimper, in my opinion. I mean, it just like
That's a
And,
fair.
I am excited to see the Omega character. Like, I think that
sure,
can be an
if she
interesting
shows up,
character
yeah, sure,
post
why not?
Empire.
Yeah. I agree, and I am excited about seeing more Asajj stories. So sure, if they're using Bad Batch to reintroduce the character, and they're going to have her in something else later, it's a cool character. So sure, why not? I mean,
Can we theorize on what the next Star Wars animated show is going to be? I have no theories, but anybody hear any whispers?
I really think that they
scoops?
need to. I think they need to do a New Republic show at this point. I think
New
they
Republic,
need to go
like post
into that era.
Jedi.
Yeah, I think it's time. There's certainly enough space
of the New
in there,
Republic or Guardians
quote unquote space. There's enough time that they could play with something in there. I know those are character, and it doesn't even have to be about like our main characters. It can just introduce some new characters. Maybe they come in contact with them, maybe they don't. But I think that we're done with this particular. We need to go post Return of the Jedi.
Hey, I would watch an Omega in the Rebellion, the beginning of the Rebellion.
Well, yeah, that would be okay.
I say we get an animated High Republic series starring Geode. Mikey, did I almost kill you?
No, I almost did a spit take though. You didn't almost kill me, but I almost did a spit take.
Geode.
And it would have gone all over the
He's
computer.
the main character.
And you would have seen flames coming out of the computer.
Killed your camera.
Yeah, well, that's not hard. That's not hard to do though. I could touch a cord, a camera would explode.
Hey, where's Rhett tonight? What's going on?
He never comes anymore.
Oh, does he not?
I guess he
poor
does.
Rhett.
Once in a while, but yeah, I mean,
Say poor Rhett.
Poor Rhett. Yeah, exactly. I just don't. I see what you did there. I know that we're not done with animated stuff. I know we're still going to do another series at some point. They're cost efficient in that way. They don't, and they can keep the ball rolling. They can have content on Disney Plus because that's the idea. If you want subscribers, you've got to have content. Even though Iger today was like, "Oh, we're only going to do 2 Marvel shows,
Max.
at any max." I mean,
year.
So I guess you just don't want subscribers then, because who else is going to come? I mean,
well, here's what you do.
It's dumb.
I mean, to be quite honest, they have to cut back to make a profit.
Financially, they do.
So, in the streaming structure of things, just go through it quickly because I know if someone who doesn't understand, they'll probably be confused by what I'm saying. But streamers are losing money. Wall Street forever was like, "Oh, it's cool because you're gaining subscribers, but we don't really care that you're losing money." And then Wall Street was eventually like, "Why aren't you making money?"
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so now these companies are going crap. Let's make a profit. Let's make a profit. And so the only profitable streamers were Netflix last year and HBO Max. And then the first quarter of this year, Disney Plus is apparently in the green, just barely. But then when you put ESPN in there, it goes back into the red.
When you put ESPN Plus in there, it goes back in the red. Yeah, exactly.
But they are semi-remedying that, right? With the Disney, with the ESPN, Fox, other company bundle thing.
I don't know what's happening with all of that. Yeah,
I don't know. Who knows? But ultimately, we'll see when the numbers come out. But
I mean, the problem
they
is
are going to have to cut back on some of this stuff. Though
3 movies. I was like,
in the case of the 3 movies is 3 movies max. So when you look at 2019,
just make it good. Is all I'm asking.
When you look at 2019, 2019 was Captain Marvel, Endgame, and Far From Home, and most people enjoyed
2 out of 3
of those 3.
Yeah,
and they all
one of
made
them
over
was only co-financed by Marvel, anyways.
Well, sure, but they all made over $1 billion. Is my point. 3 films can work. In 2021, you had 4, but that was due to COVID pushing movies into from 2020 to 2021. So that's not really a comparable year.
Mhm.
I think cutting back is the right thing to do. But they've got so many things in the can right now, and they're working on so many productions right now. That's why I put that list in the Discord earlier.
Yeah. They've got a lot they're working on.
We don't need things like Agatha. We don't need things
Yes,
like...
we do. What are you talking about?
No, we really don't need.
No, we really don't.
We really don't.
Well, the
but
good
they think
news
this is going to be a hit. So
the good news for Marvel is they've got a surefire hit coming this winter.
Yeah.
In Kraven the Hunter.
That's not Marvel. Not Marvel.
No.
Stop it.
Look,
Wait,
he's going to be a great addition
it's
to the
not
MCU.
Marvel? What?
I did hear that guy who plays him is a big action star though. He's
Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor.
Oh well. I heard he had a different name. God, what was his name in that stupid movie? I can't remember now.
No spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great in the Fall Guy. You're right.
He is really good in the Fall Guy.
Fire him. We need Agatha. That's right. Claxton. Amen to that.
We need it.
Oh,
yay!
Cool.
Claxton's here.
Claxton's here. I didn't realize.
Oh, we just finished talking about Bad Batch, but I can't remember if he's more of an X-Men guy, right?
Yeah, that's why he's here. He's ready for us to talk about X-Men. Are we done with I mean, are we glad the series is over?
Let's put a
are we
pin in it.
there's they didn't need to keep spreading it out. I mean,
it was nice to have the 15, 16 weeks of content on here that we could talk about, and there were some really, really good story arcs and episodes.
Moments,
I'm glad it exists. I will probably never watch the show again.
Right. That was, and that's something that's really interesting
about like the show again.
The Disney Plus shows. Like the rewatchability of some of them is slim to none. Like I will never watch some of these shows ever again.
But that's what I think is part of the problem. When you've got Marvel and Star Wars putting out a bunch of shows, you start to go like,
you just can't.
Some of these are just being pumped out, and the quality control is just not there like it should be. And hopefully that kind of comes to a halt with this slowdown of sorts.
Yeah. Well, let's do it. Let's dive into episode 8 of X-Men.
My X-Men.
Yes, the beginning of a 3-part series or a 3-part finale, I guess, in a way. I mean, which I love that sort of harkens back to the way they would do things in the old show.
That's right.
Like they'd have long story arcs and they'd all be like part 1,
like
part 2.
2 or 3.
So it's cool.
Some would go like 5. Yeah.
Some would go like 5. So this one's called Tolerance is Extinction. Good gracious. Just such a great show. I mean, I don't know that we even... I'm very surprised.
We're good. Thanks guys for coming.
I'm very surprised at how good this show is. Like I was not anticipating the storytelling abilities. I didn't know anything about Bo DeMaio and his writing team. I didn't know what they could deliver. So yeah, I mean, I really, really love Bastion is a great villain. He's a little twirly mustachy at times, but I mean, but that's okay.
But this show has kind of portrayed the X-Men as kind of the soap opera-y team as well. So I'm kind of fine with that over-the-top, cartoonish villain.
Mm-hmm.
I really... Watching this, I watched Bad Batch, and then a couple days later I watched this. And I was like, man, the difference. No offense to... And there were probably people who feel the opposite of me. But for me, this is a class above.
Yes.
Not in terms of animation necessarily. I do love the animation in this.
Mm-hmm.
The 3D animation of the Bad Batch is stellar, but the story work being done here is phenomenal.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have a better story than like perfect animation. I mean, that's just.
And in fact, I really like this animation. It's just
it's just very different.
Well, it's definitely staying in the style that was sort of, but better, obviously. But
yeah,
Michael, are you okay? Do we need to?
Dude, this camera is probably going to go out any minute, but we'll just keep going until it does.
We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
Oh, we are doing it live. Never mind.
Yeah.
This show took probably 5 episodes for me to really get into and like even care about the characters type of deal, but I'm in. Like this is really good stuff. I like this episode was like, I don't know, it's just it's shocking me how much I am enjoying it compared to how much I was enjoying like the first few episodes.
Yeah,
that's good. Well, and there were some that were a little, the thing with her in the video game, I could take or leave. Yeah. But this arc is going to be back to the main.
And it does make me want to go back and watch the original series.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
Dr. Earl, your thoughts on this episode?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the heck out of this thing. So it's the interesting thing for me is like, I'm not aware of this arc in the comics with this Bastion and Nimrod, I guess, infecting this father.
Yeah, I'm not an X-Men guy. So.
And then sort of raising this basically almost like a technologically advanced, they would say evolutionary, but like, he became this character, and now he's created these sort of humanoid sentinels. So just a wild concept, and but just the stakes are so high. Like just like every one of the fight scenes, you just felt like there's a lot of peril here.
Yeah, exactly.
When every character is turning into a villain around you, all the humans. And it's still not over, right? Because and for me to see Nightcrawler and Wolverine working together was
so good.
And then
I've got 6 reasons. Make that 9.
Yeah. I love that.
So I mean, they just know, and there's some melodrama in this show, but that earnestness and that melodrama was kind of what was happening in the old kids show. So I think they're keeping the same tone. They're not being too modern, like like they're eating around the breakfast table. I brought some tarts, here, let's eat some food,
I love that one part where he's talking about dial-up chats. Like I think it was Scott Summers that was talking about dialing up and going into a chat or something like that. That was hilarious. So very 90s.
But I mean, this is capturing the spirit of the comics. I randomly, when I was at this Sasquatch Comics, Michael.
Oh.
When I went over there, I bought it was like X-Men and Alpha Flight. It's a combo group. Alpha Flight.
The Canadians. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a Chris Claremont. And man, that is so dense with text and this story. And I kept going, this is like a novel. I'm reading this thing, and it's so
I didn't realize that Claremont was on X-Men for 17 years.
Oh yeah,
I didn't realize that. That's insane.
Carried it a long way.
So Claremont went into the book. The book had been rebooted by Wine, whatever his name.
Yeah, Len Wein. Yeah.
Well, he created the guy that created Wolverine, right?
Yeah, and then Claremont took it over from there and just kind of revolutionized it. And my understanding is he wrote a Bible about the characters' backstories and what exactly they were, who they were and everything. That this wasn't even on the page for us, but it was his understanding of all these characters to that point. And then he would go and write from there. And sometimes I think I am not a huge X-Men reader, and the stuff I have read, sometimes I'm like, man, he overwrites a little bit here or there, but
he does.
But I mean, you can tell. I mean, he has so much passion and love for it that you kind of just go along with it. It's
Yeah, and you would have something mentioned, maybe 2 or 3 panels that wouldn't get paid off till 5 comic books down the road.
Yeah.
I feel something weird in my head. And then 5 comics down the road, it's somebody's attacking my brain, and it's but you saw it way back there, a little seed planted. So he could do this long form. Anyway, we're not here to talk about the comics. We're here to talk about X-Men 97 episode 8. And I loved it. I love the cameos we got. My goodness. And we can talk about that as we break it down, but
towards the end of the episode.
Well, yeah.
Well, middle and end. Yeah.
Middle and end.
We got Doom in the middle.
Yeah,
yes.
Right. Crazy.
On screen. Yeah. On a screen that looks very much like mine. The glitching and the
And he's like, well,
this aesthetic for you, Michael, fits much better in X-Men 97 than
exactly.
Mikey, where do we go from here?
No, I mean,
what are you talking
go ahead.
about?
Garrison had something.
Oh, has Mikey talked about how he felt about the episode?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did. Yeah.
I really liked the this is something that just hit me while I was watching the episode, and I feel like Mikey, he saw the original show as well.
Yes. I will be right back.
Well, dang it, he can't confirm this. But when they're in the mall, Roberto DaCosta and Jubilee, and then they start getting attacked by Sentinels, and then I think she makes some little small comment about malls. You know, she doesn't want to be back in a mall again or something like that. Well, if you watch the pilot of the original animated series, she is attacked by a Sentinel in the mall.
Yes.
While she's at an arcade, and I was like, oh, that was a cute little, I think, callback to that. While she's getting like she's getting attacked by a bunch of humanoid Sentinels.
Yeah.
Which when I saw the number of humanoid Sentinels, I was like, okay. Before the episode even ended, and we had the kind of sort of resolution with that, I was like, they're gonna need like a Phantom Menace type ending where they shut down these guys from a different source because
there you go.
They can't take all these guys down in a fight.
They
mean,
need
they're
Jar Jar
manhandled. and Magneto, just good lord. I mean, but yeah, we'll get to that.
That was awesome. No, we can talk about it now because that
EMP.
was. I mean, we're jumping all over, but yeah, I mean his. Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, the senator let him, or the UN lady let him loose, right? I mean, she was feeling bad about this whole thing. She had some guilt about her.
And she didn't know about Genosha, and she was there, or she wouldn't have been there if she had known.
Right? Exactly. So
he had saved her life at that beginning with that.
It was Claxton. You're right about that, man. Oh, that's right. The POV that we saw of
when he had his hand stuck through the guy. He's like,
he stabbed through it.
Yeah. That's a good call, man.
That was really cool.
So great.
The BAMF, baby. Jacob, because
cool.
In the comics, every time Nightcrawler would like teleport, it would say BAMF, so it's called BAMFing.
BAMF, yeah, that was like
kids, and to kids my age, that meant something different.
Yes, it does.
Interesting.
Guess I never thought about it.
Sam Jackson says that phrase a few times.
He does. He does.
Oh yeah,
and it's on his lightsaber.
It's on his lightsaber and his wallet. Exactly. I loved that. And then so she lets Magneto loose. I was really hoping that Bastion in the last episode was going to give him a haircut. I was really hoping that Magneto, because he had the razor and he was giving him a nice shave. I was really hoping he was just going to chop off the locks, because I'm still not digging. I'm not digging this long-haired Magneto.
They have to build a whole new animated character for that.
I know. I need a
you
more
can just
clean
pull
cut.
him back from the.
But just he's got to be the most powerful mutant, being able to do something like that. I mean,
well, Charles is the most. Well, it depends on. They're rivals. I
was about to say, Jean is supposed to be up there.
Omega level.
Don't they call it Omega level? Yeah.
Oh yeah. What's the term? It's not mega level. Class 5. Class 5. Yeah. Class 5 mutant.
Charles is class 6.
Rogue never came out of whatever issues she's dealing with, so she kind of needed to be protected. I'm assuming she's okay, even though the whole freaking mansion is blown up at this point. But good grief. The way the episode ended with the EMP and then the flash of the 3 characters at the end.
Yeah.
So I recognized one of them. I didn't recognize the samurai guy. I didn't recognize. What's his name?
Silver Samurai. He was in like the Wolverine.
Yeah, he's the Wolverine. He's the bad guy in the Wolverine.
He's the bad guy.
I liked his little smirk, or he had this like look on his face.
That was kind of random too. I was like, what?
Assuming that would be Madripoor at that point, or where is he?
I thought he was in Japan.
Japan, I think.
I think he was in Japan.
He might be just Japan, yeah.
Unless they've, I don't know.
And then the third character, I definitely didn't know at all.
Omega Red, I think.
I did not know him either.
So
I figured it was Omega something.
So,
it's Omega. She showed.
They showed his eyes. His eyes looked like one of the Sentinel's eyes.
So the only reason I know Omega Red, he's a mutant villain, was because there was a rumor he was going to be in one of the upcoming Marvel films years ago.
Also, a cholesterol lowering medicine.
Omega Red.
Yeah. Yes.
Years ago. This didn't happen. It was a false rumor, but at the time I looked them up because I was like, Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't
Oh,
really
yeah,
know that
that's
much
him.
about him other than he's a X-Men villain.
So what? And refresh my memory on who
Spider-Man.
the first. Oh
Spider-Man.
yeah, Spider-Man. Obviously, yeah. That was, but he was a certain Spider-Man that everybody was freaking out about.
Yeah,
Was he
he's Spider-Man the animated series. Which those
spectacular?
They're apparently about to launch some more of
Spider-Man
those.
the
right?
animated series.
Yeah.
Well,
And it was the voice. It was the original voice.
not
from...
freshman year. You're not talking about the tie-in to the
No.
freshman year show. You're just talking about the.
Spider-Man the animated series.
And they're going to have
1990.
a new season of that. Is that the
No.
rumor? Oh, I thought that was the rumor.
Nothing has moved
maybe I'm
forward on
wrong.
that.
Nothing has moved forward.
There are rumors that they are very excited by what has happened with X-Men 97, that they'll move forward. Okay, so there were cartoons in the 90s for Marvel, and a lot of them were in the same universe. They didn't cross over a ton, but X-Men and Spider-Man were considered to be in the same universe.
Okay.
And I think there's a Hulk cartoon, and there were a couple other cartoons as well. There was an Iron Man one around that time, but I don't know if it's in the same universe.
I hope not, because that was a bad cartoon.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that first season was awful.
Yeah.
The second season was like totally different.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, if they do, I'd love to see that show come back, because it ends on a really sweet note, and the last 5 episodes of the original show are really good. But there are a lot of questions still left in that Spider-Man animated series, including like Mary Jane, who's is just not there anymore. Like, kind of missing.
Oh, the bad guy in Iron Man 2 was going to be Omega Red.
Oh, that's interesting.
Interesting.
So I'm reading about him. He's a Russian guy, Rusovic. The USSR transformed him into a cyborg and they implanted not adamantium, but carbonadium, a less durable but more malleable imitation. So it's the Russians' version, and he has retractable tentacles that come out of his. Anyway,
speaking of tentacles, man, those things that came out of
the tongues?
Sentinels, the tongues.
Oh,
God,
yeah.
that was.
Oh
creepy.
yeah, those little paper things. That...
There was so much creepiness going on with those things, especially when I guess Bastion's mom is who we're supposed to think that
she's
was.
Like,
and she it's very, very, all of that was very creepy.
That was weird.
Oh, did we get Baron Zemo in this episode? He's on IMDb.
Baron Zemo was like the second guy.
One of the screams, right?
He had a traditional. I'm sure they know. I didn't recognize the third one. There was Dr. Doom, then Baron Zemo, and then they showed somebody else, and I was like, I don't know who that is.
Eye patch. Is it Snake Plissken?
It might have been.
I was gonna say, is it Scarlet from G.I. Joe? Didn't she have an eye patch? I can't remember if she had an eye patch.
I wanted Snake Plissken to show up in Civil War, like right at the end. Mr. President. Anyway.
Yes, that would have been awesome. So I guess Garrison's going to get mad when I say this, but is that Dr. Doom's first appearance in the MCU then?
It's not the MCU.
I knew you were going to say that. What if it is? You don't know. What if it is the MCU?
What if it's a connection?
What if it was all along?
Why is there a Spider-Man in the 90s, Mikey, if it's the MCU?
Well, multiverse, it's, one of those. This could be the MCU.
It may not be
multiversal.
Well, no, that is correct. Like, technically speaking, like, I think they've said that this is all canon to Marvel, but just different universes, different multiverses.
That's what I thought too. But Garrison's like, no, this is not.
Yes,
this is
they
not.
have said that's anything can be connected.
MCU is
thematic.
Specific.
There's an episode of Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends with the X-Men. The story was about the Juggernaut and Charles Xavier connection.
I did mention that they had a minor crossover.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There you go.
But it was very minor.
That coming swinging from out of the blue. Thank you for listening.
Wait. So is that what they called the cartoon in the 90s, though? Was Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? No, that's the 80s. That's the 80s cartoon.
Oh, that's the 80s one.
That's the one with Iceman and the original character that was a woman. I don't remember her name, but it was a brand new character they made for that show.
But the Spider-Man that we saw in this episode of
Spider-Man the animated series.
Let me look at this.
Spider-Man the animated series. Spider-Man. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
There's been a lot of Spider-Man TV shows, and I just get
there really has. Then there was that random one on MTV.
That was supposed to be canon to Sam Raimi's universe.
Yeah.
And then the events of Spider-Man 2, they decanonized that.
Oh, Firestarter was who you're talking about.
Yes, the girl. Yes.
In the 80s cartoon.
Was that Drew
Speaking
Barrymore?
of, we finally got to see like full Sunspot in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like flying and Claxton coming in from X.
Firestar or Firestarter?
Coming in from over on the Twitterverse. The woman was
Oh, there we
Firestarter,
go.
that's right.
Okay.
Firestar.
Just use a
One point for
correction.
Claxton.
Oh,
1
okay.
point Fedematic.
1 point
right now it's 1 to 1.
1 point.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's awesome.
No, I'm just kidding.
So yeah, I do love how Jubilee's like, everybody can fly but me. And so she just like took a dive off the building, because what else was she gonna do at that point? She was either gonna die or take a dive off the building, because she was being pursued by like hundreds of those human sentinels. Gosh, this it's so cool. Like they're pulling this off in the way that they are, and I think that.
Well, it's a pretty intricate, like, how did these humans become this way? I was like, wow, that's a really intricate exposition for the backstory.
Yeah, it's just
but I'm
really
in for it. I'm like,
impressive.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm totally in for all of it. I'm like, give me all of it. You know, I'm not the biggest comic book guy, but I love this series. I mean, it's been really fun. I wish I knew all the characters that that's my one detriment, is I'm having to like look up, oh, who was that and who was that and what is this, and so I don't get all the Easter eggs. Like there's people that are watching this that are loving that aspect of it. So many Easter eggs. I wish I knew that stuff, because it would make it better for me.
They're not as many.
I'm still enjoying it a lot.
I don't know if there's as many as you think, but
well, just character names.
I'll be honest. When Juggernaut popped out of the wall, I was like,
well, that was that was
but
Morph.
then it's like Morph, and Morph has all the powers, which I'm like,
And then he said, "I'm the Juggernaut."
Yeah.
From the Juggernaut.
I really enjoyed the Summers family stuff. That was a fun line by Tim Grade too.
Yeah,
let's show them how the Summers family, and then that
was
land,
a great moment.
Yeah, in the bubble there.
The action scenes in the show, they kill it with the action scenes in the show.
They really do. They really do.
I don't think I've been disappointed by many of the fights.
Well, I mean, because we are willing to forgive maybe some animation that isn't the best in the world, because it looks comic booky. It like all looks very comic book action-y.
I think the action animation's been pretty good.
It has, but I mean, it's not like you're watching some CGI Pixar animation action, like Incredibles animation or something like that. That's what I'm saying. Like we're able to forgive the fact that this is a 2D animated show. We understand the limitations of what they can do with it. Or 2D with 3D, whatever.
Whoa.
What?
Are you like acting like 3D is superior to 2D?
No.
I mean,
no, I'm not. I'm just saying,
you guys and your nerd stuff.
I'm not. I'm just saying that we know what we're watching here, and we're able to forgive maybe some flaws that
there are no. This perfect. Michael, why are you talking? Go back and watch the old X-Men 92, 90.
Oh, I've seen it, man. I have seen it.
Those are pretty bad.
I've seen season 2 and beyond.
Shoestring budget.
I've seen season 2 and beyond of the X-Men. I've seen all of that, my friend.
I know you have. I'm just.
But I know. I don't know. Maybe I'm not articulating properly what I'm trying to say here, but it's a good show. I like the story. I like all the characters. So the animation doesn't have to be perfection, even if it might be to some people.
That was well put.
All right, here we go. Let's see. Cyclops' powers are finally getting shown off, using his blast to decelerate his fall in the first episode and clearing the rock through the mountain as they drove.
That was awesome.
We talked about that in the first episode. I loved that moment so much where he's decelerating using his beams. But yeah, I mean, his action in this episode was great too. I was really glad that Wolverine got a moment to shine in this episode, because he's kind of been to the side in the show, and I understand why they put him to the side, because so much of media has focused on him. It's also focused on him because he sells. But
he does.
I got 6 reasons right here.
He does. He always has the best lines.
Yeah. But I thought
he should be the secondary character, though. Still, I think he's the well, anyway.
Well, he's the reluctant leader.
In the X-Men, I agree. But there's a reason why you also give him solo projects, because he sells.
And that's fine. That's fine. I'm okay with that too. I'm just saying, like, I want X-Men to be a team and not.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm disappointed with the Fox X-Men is that he becomes too much of the, like, The Last Stand becomes too. I mean, I enjoy The Last Stand. It's better than you think it is, or
that was better than I remembered it when I watched it.
It's not terrible.
Yeah,
I like Kelsey Grammer as the Beast. I think he does great.
Kelsey Grammer as the Beast is awesome.
All right,
he's like,
I like how there is
Michael. Come on. I hear you're a real animal.
I like how in X2 there's a guy on the TV in the background, Dr. Hank McCoy, talking on the TV. He doesn't look anything like Kelsey
Grammer. Yeah, exactly.
And then the next movie they introduce.
Well, he's all blue and stuff. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. I did love that moment when Cable's like, "You've got a Porsche," or he says, "Of course you've got a Porsche," or something like that. Love that moment.
Scott smirks. But yeah, they've really been giving Scott his due in the show. About every adaptation of Scott's been pretty horrendous.
Yeah,
mostly. This
is very good. The original trilogy is awful in terms of his characterization.
Yeah, they just shoved him away.
He's just a whiny little baby.
Well, I still think that he has some maybe overly melodramatic moments in this series too. I mean, he's not,
but he's not a whiny.
Not whiny.
I'm not going to say the word I was going to say.
He's not whiny. Yeah, he's not a whiny baby. Yeah, I mean, but there, like, even in this episode at the beginning, there's just some stuff where I'm like, okay, they're still
he's
making him like
he's kind of a rigid, stiff shirt kind of guy.
Sure,
that's part of his original characterization, but.
He's more Captain America than
the problem that I think they run into sometimes with Scott Summers in at least the film portrayal and somewhat in this is if you put him in a room with Wolverine, it's always Wolverine that gets the better lines. He's always the one that's like, I don't know. He just always seems like he's more of a leader than Scott Summers, and it's supposed to be.
I disagree. I think in this show, when they've had them together, Scott's been the leader.
Right. Yeah,
and they both had good lines, but they butted heads. But I think they've done it really well. They've mixed them pretty well in this show.
You want Wolverine to be the color and the sort of wisecracker and sort of the cynic, whereas you've got the straight arrow. He's more like Captain America. I'm trying to think who it's like in the Avengers, but.
Yeah, I guess he would be more like
in the comics. It's more like a Captain America,
like type, a Captain America type.
And then you've got the cynical sort of. I just can't think who's who would be the correlate.
Well, it's Tony is more like Wolverine.
Well, maybe Tony,
just like sarcastic and
Tony's not quite. Well, yeah, that's true.
Always, Anyway. Although when Wolverine loves somebody, he loves them hard. He gets really emotionally.
Listen, Jane.
It's always been Scott. It's always Scott and Jean.
Except for when Jean blows up Scott at the beginning of The Last Stand.
Yes.
I liked when Jean said, Cable, put your seatbelt on.
I know, she right? Exactly.
Like he's this big old guy, and they get into Lockheed. Funny. And then they're worried about blow. Well, this is gonna be the third one we trash. They're like,
Hank's gonna be so mad at us. Hank's gonna be so ticked.
Jean's like, I'm gonna be a mother to this my son Cable.
I did like in this episode they get into why Cable could not prevent.
Right,
and that he had been trying to prevent it from happening several times. I mean, he had gone.
The word that I'm surprised they didn't use is nexus point, because that was something that they have said in the MCU before. So I figured they were going to.
Well, they used the absolute point term from that What If episode. Episode 4 from season 1. The Doctor.
Wasn't that what they called a nexus point?
No, that was like absolute point. Yeah. There's the same term they used.
Scarlet Witch is a nexus point.
I'm 99% sure. I'm 99% sure that was the exact same phrasing they used in both episodes.
Oh, really?
Between the two shows. So yeah.
I'll have to.
And that's why he mentions. That's why Beast.
What's their home base?
That's why Beast.
They did say that.
Kamar-Taj. Yeah.
Kamar-Taj. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was cool. Yeah. I mean, sometimes there's just certain things you can't prevent, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Wolverine pops off. Why didn't you stop it? Why is Wolverine's always?
And it makes
popping
sense
off?
why the Watcher would show up for that kind of moment too.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, an absolute point like that makes total sense.
I'm trying to
when
see.
you have a time traveler there too.
Oh well, yeah. We got to see Cable's little like avatar that he has with him. I guess his little computer that can talk and stuff. We got to see that used a little bit, so I'm guessing that'll come up again. Maybe, I don't know. Bishop has kind of been sidelined. Hopefully he finds a way back, or we get to see Bishop again. But I mean, I guess Cable's the more important character, but maybe Bishop will be back. We've got 2 more massive episodes left.
Okay, another cameo. I guess I forgot when they were doing the flashback to the future.
Mm-hmm.
One of the other Summers, Rachel Summers, had a non-speaking cameo as the Hound.
Rachel
in the original.
Rachel.
Rachel is also shown helping improve society in Cable's narration or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, that was the whole like Bastion actually improved society, but by enslaving the mutants, basically
on the backs of mutants.
Backs of mutants. Well, cool.
Did they say? Hold on, wait a minute. Polaris. Hold on a minute. Was she in this X-Men?
I mean, maybe in the
Magneto's
future.
daughter.
Yeah, Magneto's daughter, Polaris.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that in the episode.
She might have been one of those mutants that was on the. Well, yeah, she was the older lady,
on her, right?
She was the older lady in the future scene that they sort of zoomed in on a little bit. That had Magneto type mind stuff coming out of her head. They zoomed in on her for just a second.
Yeah, they said that.
She's usually got green on her costume, right?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
I'm looking at a picture. I just looked up all the cameos in this episode.
Yeah, she was in the future scene for just a second.
It showcases a broken Polaris. I don't remember that, but
well, she certainly looked like older and ragged. I mean, I guess maybe just because she was enslaved by Bastion, doing his bidding. So, well, dude, I've got to go watch First Class. I got to catch up to Garrison.
Dude, First Class is so good. I watched.
I know. I'm excited. I've got to watch that. So
it is really good.
Just so I can.
Is that Beachhead? Is that in where you're from, Tifton, Georgia? Oh wait, no, New Brunswick. I'm sorry.
No, it's not New Brunswick. There's no New Brunswick.
So the beach that's Cuba, that's Jekyll Island Beach. And they actually put palm trees on the set. More palm trees on the sets to kind of cover the street behind where they're filming. And then you've got the pier, which is Jekyll Pier, but you can see the Brunswick, the Sydney Linear Bridge that goes, connecting 17, Highway 17 there. So
sounds good. Thank you. I don't want to keep Michael from his movies, so
no. We've gone the hour. It's always an hour, guys.
You can also see the original Sydney Linear Bridge in. What's that movie? The Longest Yard. One of the bridges that Burt Reynolds' character goes on is the Sydney Linear Bridge in the film, and the original.
Yep.
Not the Adam Sandler one.
The original Longest Yard and the original Sydney Linear Bridge, because there's a new one. It's bigger. But then you see him get off the bridge, and then he's like in a road in Savannah, and it's if you live down here, you're like. Okay.
That's not right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, do we have 2 more episodes left?
Yeah, 2 more episodes exactly. Wow. So we will, on that note, we will definitely be back next week to talk about the
Tales of the Empire
episode. No, the penultimate episode of X-Men 97.
Phantom Menace.
I'm trying to end the show.
Oh, sorry.
Garrison, where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me at GRYFUN3, GRYFUN3 on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on GRYFUN, GRYFUN on Letterboxd, where hopefully I'll be watching more Fox films and also more films in theaters. Tomorrow I have tickets to see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
We're seeing that on Thursday.
Boom! Still got your one movie in the theaters a week going streak?
Yeah.
That's
in
good.
fact, I'm ahead of schedule right now. I think I'm 2 weeks ahead of schedule.
Don't get cocky. Trust me, I've been there.
Cocky, kid.
Like, were you getting ahead of schedule on,
we're not out
movie
of this
watching? Yet. Yeah, we're not out of this yet. Anyways, Jacob, what is going on with the Good Day for a Movie podcast?
Yes, Good Day for Movie podcast should be pretty crazy and fun this summer because we have no Sage. The parents are out of town. The grumpy people are no longer for a couple months. He is has an externship, as his school calls it, at a very fancy restaurant. So it's just Tate and I and a whole bunch of guests, hopefully. Our last episode of just Tate and I, we went for 2 hours talking about the Sunset Limited. Which is a fantastic movie. It's on Max. I think everybody should go watch it. Just Tommy Lee Jones and Sam Jackson having a theological debates for 90 minutes.
Based on a Cormac McCarthy play.
Yep.
So
wow. Okay. All right.
Pretty awesome.
You have my attention.
Yeah. It should be the next movie anybody watches, I think.
Wow.
Well, I gotta watch First Class. Slow down.
I know.
You're getting a little crazy now. Hold on.
Come on now. Don't put that on me.
How long is the movie? You said 4 hours and 90 minutes?
That's 90.
No. Earl, that's the film I assigned you.
Yeah, I know. I still got to get to it.
You've got time.
I don't know when I'll ever have the schedule, but we'll figure it out.
Tonight I will be watching Dogtooth.
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot you guys.
That's y'all's next movie? Is that your next movie?
Dude, that movie will mess you up, but okay.
I still
enjoy.
And then 2 weeks from now, we're reviewing The Fall Guy. So it sounds like that will be a nice mouthful.
You'll need that after Dogtooth. You'll need to watch The Fall Guy.
So that's my night, is watching Dogtooth.
Awesome.
Wish me luck.
Awesome. I love it. Dr. Earl, off the grid, but can be found on our Discord server. We lovingly call it Discord.
A little sprinkling. I pop in. I don't.
He's there in the pretentious corner from time to time.
I haven't had a chance to be pretentious in a while, but
you haven't. But you've got some movies to watch that will delve into the pretentiousness.
We're out of awards season, Earl. I'm sorry.
We are.
I know, coming up now.
But hey, I love other regular people movies too, like
you peons. I love your movies. Well, awesome. I can be found at the Michael Nip on Twitter, now X or whatever. I'm also on Letterboxd, but I'm really my summer, I've decided, is going to be a lot of rewatching of stuff. I haven't done that in a long time, and I'm going to choose a bunch of series to rewatch, and I'm looking forward to that. So probably not many new movies coming at me on the Letterboxd. So because I've pretty much given up on the goal of beating what I did several years ago, which was over 365 movies in a year. I never want to do that again. It was actually painful to do that. And I don't want to put that pressure on myself again. So I'm just going to enjoy my summer and rewatch some X-Men movies, some Aliens, and who knows what will come after that. The chat was awesome this week. Thanks you so much to Claxton for hanging out, Fitmatic. And it really just makes it more fun for us if you guys are participating in the chat. I do my best to throw your stuff up on there when I see it. And so really appreciate that. If you would do us a big favor, if you're just like on YouTube and you happen to see this, give us a like, give us a subscribe. We're here pretty much every Tuesday. Maybe we're going to have to shift that schedule a little bit for Acolyte, depending on when they release those episodes. But we will see. We'll see what happens with all of that. That's in June. We don't need to worry about that right now. We've got more X-Men 97 coming next Tuesday and for the next couple weeks. And then we got to kind of figure out what we're going to do leading up into the Acolyte. We might be talking some Furiosa on here. We might be doing a Furiosa roundtable. So we'll see what happens. But again, thank you guys for joining me as you do. Sorry for all the camera issues. I did get it fixed, but I should have fixed it earlier than I did. It really just took it unplugging it and plugging it back in. So I should have known better. Again, appreciate everybody watching and see you guys next Tuesday. Go watch a movie or something. It'll be worth it. I promise.